Alright, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic Less Known Classics. This is episode number 2362 and Doubleshot number 2256. We're first discussing from the series Spectacular Spider-Man issues 197 200, 204 to 210, and 212 to 16, along with annuals 13 and 14. We're starting with the 13th annual, where we have this character called Nocturne, just basically this mutation. It's a character who previously appeared in pages of Spectacular Spider-Man part of this, and she's here for this opening story, and they think I kill her, and then we have a backup story featuring her, which continues right afterwards. Third story features a character called Black Crow, who's also from Spectacular Spider-Man. He's here, and his next appearance right after this particular annual, would actually be in Captain America 440. As part of taking name stuff, he fights a guy called Dayspire, who basically was responsible for the stuff in the pages of Hulk. Yep. Yeah, he's basically an arch nemesis of Cloak and Dagger. Why is he here, you might ask? Well, they wrapped up basically the storyline they were doing for him in Doctor Strange, so they've written this book. Third story is story for the Prowler. Yes, the Prowler is in here too. Now, the first two stories are by Dan Matthias. Actually, it's the first three stories. The fourth story is done by Glenn Helberg with John Romita Sr. on the artwork. MC Wayman does the artwork for the second and third story. Opening story is Jerry Brigham. Now, I'm going to discuss basically the 14th annual, which takes place right after issue 100, which we'll discuss that. Now, in the case of issues... Now, while discussing issues 197 to 200, my original plan was to do 200 and then do the other ones. But because basically they continue right where 197 left off, so I figured I want to talk about these issues. 197 to 200 is basically Spider-Man teaming up with the X-Men. Taking this guy called Professor Power for 3 issues. All fall down mansion, they shed into space, they come back, and then the end 3-parter in 199, you have Mary Jane, being attacked by the Green Goblin. Yes, because also in these issues we see sort of Harry has been unstable, and then 200, sadly Pooh would have his death, and shockingly this would kind of stick, this death in 200. Yes, of course, this came out roughly in the year of came out in 1993. Yeah, by the way, in case you're curious though, the issue I'm discussing here came out from the period of February. Well, actually more like December 1992. And we conclude with July of 1994. So like a little over a year worth of comics. Yeah, but in the case 200, yeah. Sadly, I put this with the end of Harry Osborn in the book. Yeah. And this death would kind of stick for, believe it or not, kind of in a way at the time, for about 14 years until it was retconned that, his death was like with his father. And then that got retconned where it revealed that he was insane and involved with the Kindred stuff. Yeah, they basically just retconned 2 different retcons with the whole Nick Spencer. It's a bit confusing when it comes to Harry Osborn. But yeah, this one's dead. Yeah, still dead. Yeah, they confirmed the fact this one definitely did die in this issue. He was not brought back at all. Because the fact that they actually revealed it, that, well, AI stuff, it's weird. It was a weird conclusion, but yeah, this would be Death of Harry Osborn. And then, of course, basically, we see his body, his body, seen in Amazing Spider-Man Volume 4, number 74, which is also the 875th issue of the series. Yes, which was Nick mentioned the last issue. Yeah. So then, of course, we have the annual. Yeah, he would die sadly. Now, the annual itself, mostly took place just after his death. But here's a little fun fact about the annual. Annual 14. Did you know that it was the last ever annual release for Amazing Spider-Man? That was for Spectacular Spider-Man. Yeah, this was the last one. Now you're probably thinking, wait, this was the last one released? Yeah, there was no more annuals after this. What, really? Yeah, really. There was none. Yeah, the 2 times they brought the series back, they never gave an annual. Not for Volume 2, or even Volume 3 was Ardesky was in the book. No annuals. You're thinking, really? Yeah, really. None. As far as I can tell, I don't know what the reason was. Yeah, it's a bit weird. I'm not sure exactly what was the purpose of not giving him another annual for the series, but yeah, and number 14 is the last special annual ever released for Stuck on Spider-Man. Now, of course, I just covered annual 13 here. I have also covered annuals 12 and 11. 8 through 10 I'll cover at another point, but I have covered the first 6 annuals along with these 4. Yep, so I got about 4 annuals left to go for Amazing First Spectacular Spider-Man, and that's it. The first story mostly picks up right where issue 100 left off. Basically, gives like some kind of will, which of course they bring up in the Spectacular Spider-Man issues. Yeah, it's mostly put a bit of an aftermath type issue, and then we also have stories for the Foreigner and the Shroud. The Shroud had previously appeared in this little miniseries. Yep. As for the Foreigner, well, he previously appeared back in Web of Spider-Man number 99. Yep. The annual itself was really good. A good aftermath story for that one. Now moving on to issue number 204. .204 is the start of a brand new story arc. Yep, 204. The story is called Death by Tombstone. Yeah, it starts with issue 204, and I think it wraps up. It wraps up by 206. It's a quick 3-part story arc where basically it's just Tombstone returning to the book. First time he's appeared since Mark Spector Moon Knight. Yeah, he previously appeared in that book. Yeah, of course, he fights Hammerhead, takes over his crime syndicate, and, well, that's it for him. Yeah. We also have the Council of Bosses, which they only appear in this issue and one other issue, and that's it. Yeah, they appear for 2 issues, and that's it. And after this story arc wraps up, then we have the top story arc, which also features Return of the Shroud. The Shroud, of course, last appeared in this book, back in Web New Warriors and number 3. Yeah, he's pretty much the main villain of this issue. We also have a guy called Joey Grogson. Now, the Shroud, the whole TAP story arc, that's mostly put basically just a quick story arc, like a 2-parter. And then like 209 and 210 is mostly put basically a storyline that involves the Foreigner. Yep, the Foreigner. I'm not going to discuss 211 because that's basically the possessed story arc. And then basically we have a character known as Master of Vengeance, who is a character who appeared in Spider-Man number 32. And he's here for this book for 1 issue, and he appears in the Super Special, and that's it. In 213, we have the start of the Typhoid Axe arc. An arc that's only a quick 2-parter of guest appearance by Typhoid Mary. Yep, and then the 2-part kind of wrap this one where Spider-Man where he fights the Scorpion. Yep. He fights a Scorpion. Yeah, that's what he does. Fights a Scorpion. But these issues are awesome. I love them. I'm gonna give these issues a 9.5. I'm gonna give them a 10 out of 10 because they're really good. Next up, we're gonna discuss issues from Spider-Man. Now, this is what we're discussing here. We're starting from 24, wrap up with issue 50. But the issues we're not going to discuss here are issues 29 31, because it's Life Mad Dog War, and I've discussed that in a trade already. 35 37. Why am I discussing these issues? That's Action Carnage. Discussed already. And I'm discussing issue 45 because part of the Pursuit storyline, which is discussed in one of the Epic collections. Now, issue 24 is a tie-in to Infinity War. We have Spider-Man meeting Doppelganger first time. Yep, that's mostly put exactly what this is. Also, storyline here involving Hobgoblin. Yep. Excuse me. And then basically for the 25th issue, which is the very next issue, by the way, Spider-Man teams up with Excalibur and Spider-Man becomes brief host of Phoenix Force. Yep. 26 is part of the celebration of basically Spider-Man. This book in particular, just called With Great Responsibility. I think at the time this was the 30th anniversary of Spider-Man at the time. I believe so, yes. Yeah, 30th anniversary event. Mm-hmm. Well, Spider-Man versus Sunset Bean. You're thinking, who's Sunset Bean? It's an Iron Man character. Who first paired pages of Machine Man. Is she Jack Kirby character? No. She is not. She actually made an appearance prior to this book in Iron Man number 11. Yep. So she is sort of an Iron Man villain because basically she was a recurring character in Iron Man Volume 3. Issue 27, just fighting some gangs in this issue. It's a two-part involving guns. First, a quick two-part involving that's a PSA involving guns. In 20 and 31, like I mentioned, is basically life return to the Mad Dog War. But 32-34 is the Vengeance story arc. It's a 3-part story arc that involves the character Vengeance and also involves the Punisher. It's a quick story arc, and I believe this is the story arc where I believe Stephen Grant took over as the writer of the book. Because if you're really curious, though, issue 24 was done by Howard Mankey. Yep, Howard Mankey did issues 24. 25 is Tom Cavanaugh. 26 is Tom DeFalco and Ron Martz. 27 is Don McGregor, and who does issue 20. Now, of course, Stephen Grant does issues 32-34. But what about, let's say, 38-40? 38-40 is a 3-parter involving Spider-Man taking on Electro again. Because of course he would. Yep, that's most part of this. And then we have 41-43, where Spider-Man teams with Iron Fist for a few issues. Yep, teams with Iron Fist. Though, I should point out, I'm not a fan of the covers very much. No, the cover is done by Jay Lee. And he does the entire work, and Terry Calvin does the writing for this one. Does he do the writing for issue 38-40? You might be asking? Well, no, it's Dan Matthias. It's called The Light of Night, involving Electro and a guy called the Crooked Man. The Crook Man. Yeah. A character appeared way back in Amazing Spider number 3. He was like a random guy who just appeared. Yeah, I'm not sure why they brought this guy back for. The guy appeared part of this. Amazing number 3, X number 8, Avengers 59, and Daredevil 48. And he appears as a 3-parter, and that's it for him. Yeah, this 3-parter was his last appearance in comics. Yeah, the Iron Fist thing with the character Kate Cushing. Yeah, she actually had, she appeared in issues. I think was a sort of end of her time in the comics because, yeah, this 3-parter was basically, she was a character they were basically retiring at this point in time. So they appeared 2 more times after this in 215, which I kind of briefly discusses. Yeah, also in Spectre Spider-Man, I forgot to mention this too, that there's a subplot in those issues where James wants to leave in a new direction. A lot of people don't like it very much. And this causes Marla to file for divorce, which, does it happen? No, because they're still married up until she died when Dan Slott wrote the book. But that was a subplot in that book. It was an interesting idea for, well, because she had no choice in that. Because the reason why she wanted to divorce him, because she still loves him. She loves Jameson. The reason why, because it is obsession with the Bugle. That's the only reason why. Yep. Yeah, this story was really good. Kate Cushing, like I mentioned, appears in 215, appears one more time after that, and that's it. 44 features Return of the Hobgoblin. Yep. That's exactly what it is. Yep. Though it's Jason McIntyre who last appeared back in the Mutant Agenda miniseries. Yep. We also first appearance of Detective Connor Trevin, who did not appear very much. Seems like mostly he appeared heavily on the Clone Saga, and once Clone Saga wrapped up, he just appeared a couple times after that, and that's mostly been it for him. Now, basically from 46 to 50, this is mostly put... there's two major story arcs going on here. There's stuff with Demogoblin, Hobgoblin. This is a story involving them. It's got Beware of the Raid of the Desert Man. This is a 4-parter. Yes, from 46 to 49. But there's a subplot. There's a big plot in these issues that builds up the debut of the Grim Hunter, Kraven the Hunter's son. Most put in the main story arc, the A plot. It's mostly put basically dealing with the whole conclusion with Demogoblin, Hobgoblin, which, well, the Jason McIntyre Hobgoblin is, yes. 47's debut of Vladimir Kravinoff. Yeah, this was technically his first appearance in this story arc. Yeah. And he was a character who... Well, he wasn't around very long. No, they had just introduced him in this story arc. And then he gets killed off on the Clone Saga. By Kane. Yeah, that was really weird. It's like, okay, so we create this really cool character, and then we kill him off, and then bring him back for Grim Hunt, and that sadly was it for the guy. It's like basically Howard Mankey, who created this character, spent so much time developing and building up this character, and then you kill him off. Like, not long after this story wraps up with issue 50, which is an excellent issue, by the way. It's like, just a few months later, done. Retired the character. And sadly with this, I'm done reviewing Grim Hunter. Yeah. Because the guy didn't appear very much. He just appeared just in these issues of Spider-Man. Yeah. He's a really cool character. I really appreciate this character. It's sad that the guy didn't appear very much. Like, after the story wrapped up, he appeared 4 times. 53, 55, and he appeared in the Web of Death storyline. It's like he appears to start the... Okay, if you're really curious what the heck the guy looks like, if you're really curious... He basically undergone procedure in order to make himself like his father. And there's references in here to Kraven's Last Hunt. But yeah, here's the Grim Hunter in his full regalia garb. And he dies not long after this. Yeah, really cool idea. Fights in this issue. He loses. And I guess some people at Marvel felt this character was useless, so kill him off. Yeah. But I love these issues. I thought they were really good. Not a bad issue, this whole bunch. Well, the only issues I wasn't really a fan of was the 2-part involving the gun stuff. That I was not a fan of. I thought those issues were a bit boring at best. I don't mind the message at all, but yeah, I like the main stuff better. But so shockingly, those are the only 2 really bad issues this whole batch. Yeah. Also, yeah, they kind of set this up, the whole Grim Hunter thing, with basically issue 46. That's what we set this up with. Even though it made his debut the very next issue, but basically that's a setup basically because they go to Kraven's mansion. Well, with this big, huge painting. Demogoblin, I think he gets killed off in these issues, if I'm not mistaken. Well, the original anyways. Yeah, the original gets killed off, and this story gets... I guess because they probably don't have plans for him, so let's just kill him off, and then basically 49, we just debut more members of Jason McIntyre's family, like Karen McIntyre, who was Jason McIntyre's ex-wife, and apparently he has a son too, who appeared for this one issue. It's like, oh, let's bring in Jason McIntyre's family for this one issue, and that was basically it for the character. Mm-hmm. There was a new character. There was a character Ron Valkyrie appears this issue and issue of Green Goblin. That was it. This is the guy who basically married his ex-wife, and at the end of this, basically, we lead directly in. We also debut a character named Cold Heart, a character who was also a character in these issues, and she, after this one appearance, she did not show up again until Civil War #1. In 2006, which, by the way, that was 12 years later. Why the heck would they make 12-year wait for this character? I have no freaking idea. Interesting character, but it's like, okay, let's just bring her, let's create this character, and then nothing. Yeah, and by the way, she appeared very rarely after this. Like, Civil #1, Wolverine 42. Raise number 542. So Frontline #1, Avengers Count #10, Holiday Special 2021, Contest of Champions #5, All New Avengers #8, and Standoff Omega #1. And that's another character you can say I'm done reviewing. Is the Cold Heart. Because pretty much in the way I read pretty much everything except for like one comic. But I'm gonna give 24 to 26 a 10 out of 10. 27 to 28, I'm going to give those two issues a 8. 32 to 34, I give those 3 a 9. The Electro issues, which is 38 to 40, I give those a 9.5. 41 to 43, I give those a... I'm going to give them 8.5, those issues, because I wasn't really a big fan of the covers. 44, I give that a 9. But 46 to 50, 10. That's the rating of those issues, okay? So yeah, that's it, particular view. Next up, basically, is Eden Zero. Okay, next view.